WWE NXT No Mercy 2024 match card predicted. That's right, it's time to predict the match card. No Mercy is just a few short weeks away. I've got 7 matches in total, including multiple championship matches, including who will be the #1 contender for the NXT Championship against Ethan Page. It was announced this past week by Ava on NXT TV that we'll have a triple threat match to determine the #1 contender. The 3 men in the match will be Pete Dunne, Wesley, and say his name and he'll appear, yes, you guessed it, Joe Hendry. My prediction will be Joe Hendry will be the guy to win the freeway. He will move on to take on Ethan Page. Can a TNA superstar, or TNA wrestler I should say, take the NXT Championship back to the Impact Zone? That will be fascinating to watch and an interesting story to play out. Joe Hendry is the hottest thing right now, it feels, throughout professional wrestling at this particular moment. He seems to be popping up everywhere, whether it's your music charts, whether it's different promotions, whether it's even mainstream media. Joe Hendry's name is getting about. So WWE and TNA are maximizing that potential, and it is the right man to have in the main event in this slot because, well, if, and probably maybe most likely if Joe Hendry doesn't get the job done, he can go back to TNA and it's a successful chapter in the career of Joe Hendry with NXT and with TNA and the collaboration. Of course, on the flip side, Joe Hendry could win the NXT Championship, cause a massive stir that a TNA superstar holds the NXT Championship. For me, it's a fascinating one to play out, and with other 2 in the #1 contenders match, can have 2 separate matches on No Mercy as well. Starting with Pete Dunne picking up a victory over Trick Williams, but Trick has said he's going to figure out how to beat Pete Dunne. He's done it before with different combinations. The friendship with Carmelo Hayes, for example, beating him at Stand and Deliver. Ilya Dragunov as well being another one he couldn't beat, of course, beating Ilya to win the NXT Championship. So Pete Dunne is the next one on Trick Williams', I guess, redemption story to get him back to the top and winning the NXT Championship. Trick Williams here will pick up the win against Pete Dunne at No Mercy. Wesley, no surprise, turning on the Rascals, breaking up MSK as well, sending Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz back to TNA. He has said on his explanation that he expects a match with Zachary Wentz. Possibly No Mercy would be a perfect destination. Kind of gave away he's not winning that freeway. I expect this match will take place here. Wesley versus Zachary Wentz. I think Trey Miguel will be on the outside as well. I think Wesley will pick up the victory, and sadly, it will close a chapter of many years of friendship, moving Wesley perfectly on towards the NXT Championship picture, where I think he rightfully deserves to be at this point in his career. A heel turn as well just freshens up his character as well. I'm excited to see where it's going to go down the road for Wesley. And well, all in all, I think that the heel turn was perfectly executed using the Rascals as well. It just shows how perfect this NXT and TNA relationship can be used. So that's already 3 matches there for you for No Mercy. Let's move things over then to the women's side of things for the NXT Women's Championship. Roxanne Perez is awaiting her challenger, and well, we've got a lineup of women that will be going in a gauntlet match, and the winner will be taking on Roxanne Perez. So far, looking at the lineup, Sol Ruka is my prediction to win that, to go against Roxanne Perez. Sol Ruka had a very impressive performance at the last show, Heatwave, against Kalani Jordan. I think a match against Roxanne Perez would be one that would be very suitable here through Roxanne Perez's reign. I think when Roxanne loses that championship, she'll maybe have 1 or 2 more dream matches that could take place in NXT. You know, the people I'm talking about, perhaps the Stephanie Vacurs, the Julias, the Deltas of this world, and then she'll be moving up to a Raw and a SmackDown. So this, for me, right now feels like the perfect stopgap to do a Roxanne versus Sol Ruka match. There is always NXT being NXT. There could be someone taken out of this gauntlet match, and one of those star names comes into this match because they've not faced Roxanne Perez. But it does feel like we have this storyline beat going now. People that haven't faced Roxanne before. We've had it with Jordan Grace earlier in the year, coming in, starting this NXT TNA relationship. We've now got simply just people that are on the roster. After this, if Roxanne gets through it, which I think she would, you can then start bringing these new exciting names in that we all know about, and that can be, well, you've brought them in simply to take that title from it. It's a perfect story and narrative to go on with Roxanne Perez going into the winter season with the likes of Halloween Havoc and Deadline to appear later this year as NXT premium live events. I mentioned Kalani Jordan for the Women's North American Championship. I've got to go in against Wendy Chu. There is a potential that this one could be on the pre-show, because it usually is a pre-show match for these NXT specials, so I could see that potentially going here, possibly, but I think Kalani Jordan would pick up the victory. This feud for me at the moment is a bit lukewarm at the moment, but I think with many weeks still to go between now and No Mercy, I expect this one to heat up over the coming weeks of NXT TV. For the Men's North American Championship, I've got Obafemi taking on Tony D'Angelo. Feels like an obvious one, this one. Oba has been getting in the way of Tony D'Angelo on multiple occasions on NXT TV recently, actually stealing the spotlight as well a lot of the times from Tony D'Angelo is what Oba has been doing. Oba's still been dominant and been successful with his title defenses, his most recent one against Otis, and of course Tony D'Angelo was the Heritage Cup holder until losing that very recently to Charlie Dempsey. Now, this actually brings Tony D back into the mix to go for the North American Championship. He can go for the NXT Championship. I think right now, though, the fact that he's been probably on the fringes, on the outside of storylines, I think that it's better he goes for the North American title. He feels like a legitimate threat of someone that's been a mainstay in NXT for a long time now, going against Obafemi, because Oba eventually will go to the main event picture, will become an NXT champion. I just don't think that's yet. In fact, I don't think it's going to be for a while. I think that the main event scene is kind of set right now in NXT. Obafemi can continue his work as the North American champion. When we get past Stand and Deliver next year, I think that's the perfect time we can start transitioning Obafemi from being the mid-card champion in NXT to being your top guy of the brand for NXT. Last but not least, let's go with the Tag Team Championships. Chase U versus Axiom and Frazier. Yes, we've done it a couple of times before. We're going to do it one more time. Chase U winning those tag team titles this past Tuesday. Ridge Holland and Andre Chase. And of course, this will be Axiom and Frazier's, I suppose, last chance, because these guys have not been on the same page, and they've been interesting with the storylines of not being on the same page. They helped create friction with the Rascals. I think it could end up being what's part of the friction as well for Chase U, because I originally thought that Ridge and Andre Chase would win the Tag Team Championships this past week on NXT, but I have a feeling that Duke Hudson and Riley Osborne are going to break away from Chase U, and they're going to be turning on Ridge and Andre Chase very, very soon. Going to leave Fearhow in the middle as well. I can see a pure split of the Chase U group. However, I think a lot of people's focus will be on Axiom and Frazier, because of course they've had other obligations which have upset the other tag team partner. Now they've actually dropped all that. They wanted to focus on the tag team titles. Ironically, they lost them. And if they lose this match as well, which I think they possibly could do, people would ask that question. But however, if Osborne and Duke are really happy that Rich Holland's back in, they'll let the tag team match play out on this show. If they're not, maybe they cost Ridge. So, I mean, I'm 50-50 on how the result would go down. The fact we're seeing Chase U, Axiom and Frazier also in regular tag team matches to this point does make me think if we're going to get a stipulation match, this could be the one. For me, open to the idea of a ladder match, just because I think it's great for Frazier and Axiom. Plus, it's 25 years ago we had the infamous No Mercy tag team ladder match with Edge and Christian and the Hardy Boys. So it would be fun to see that kind of given a bit of respect, brought 25 years later, a standard tag team ladder match. We've not seen one for a long time in WWE. We've seen singles ladder matches. We've seen like Money in the Bank style and multiple single stars. How'd you get some just a straight up tag team ladder match? It's been a while, so I think there could be a suitable one here. So that's my matches I predicted for NXT No Mercy 2024. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you like the look of this match card? Are there matches you think we will see? Or do you think we'll see something different? I'd like to hear your opinions and also some of your predictions as well. More videos will be dropping on the channel later this week, and if you can't wait, check out these videos on the side of the screen right now to see more content on this channel. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.